I'm Christiaan. I'm currently 2 years clean from today, so that's very exciting. I've been struggling with porn and masturbation from the age of 9. I struggled with it for 10 years, and it's just been a difficult journey, but very rewarding, and I'm super excited that Jesus is working in my life.
Amazing. Christiaan, welcome to the Grace Online podcast studio. We're going to have a wonderful conversation today. Tell me more about the porn addiction. Where did it all start?
So my porn addiction started in primary school. The first time I remember being exposed to porn was at primary school with my friends. They just spoke about it, and I started to get curious. So I took my brother's iPad and I just started searching for it, and it was very easy to find it. I just typed in some simple words, and there it was on the screen. So that was my first exposure, and from there on, from grade 3, so that was when I was 9 years old, until grade 9, so that was when I was 15 years old. I can't really remember anything. It was just a massive blur, but I can tell you that it got a lot worse. I searched for more explicit content. That's not who I am. It's against my values, but it's something that I craved to sort of satisfy my needs. So that was the scary thing that I remember now looking back. So, and then after that, I told my girlfriend when I was 16 that I struggled with porn and only porn, or I used to struggle with it. And then I thought, okay, this is it. I told someone else, so now I'm going to get freedom. Yeah. But it just never happened. After I told my girlfriend, I was clean for about one week, and then I just kept on watching porn and masturbating. And then when I was 19 years old, I told my girlfriend everything. So I learned a valuable lesson of being completely honest with the people you love, and that will set you free. So that took me on a journey of recovery to really to choose myself, to choose Jesus, and to choose my girlfriend. And trying to stay clean was still difficult. After telling my girlfriend I struggled with porn when I was 19 years old, I still relapsed a week after that, but there was a definitive point where I stopped, and I've never relapsed since. So that is both amazing and crazy, because if you would have told me 2 years ago that I would be clean for so long, I would tell you, you are definitely lying to me, because...
Is it not 2 years, eh?
It's 2 years today officially.
Today officially?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
So that's awesome, yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so let's track back. So how many years were you addicted?
So I was addicted from 9 to 19, so it's 10 years.
10 years,
yes.
10 years. And like you said, now there was a natural progression. It's like a bottomless pit. It's like a hunger that cannot be satisfied. I mean, yes. So you watched more and more porn and more explicit things.
Yes.
And so there definitely was a natural progression. How did you change as a person over 10 years because of that addiction?
I think it's a very scary thing, because when you are so young, it's still in the developmental phase. So you grow up watching porn, and your brain is still growing and developing. So it's a scary thing. It just completely skewed my view of women. It's
in what way?
So I just view them as objects, not seeing their true potential or their true selves, just their outward appearance and how they can sort of satisfy my needs in terms of my noticing and a fantasy. So that's how I viewed 99% of the women.
Wow. Now that's amazing. And we are sitting here today free from this addiction or living in the light, what does it feel like? I mean, just being able and knowing that, listen, yeah, I've got nothing to hide. There's just total freedom in that. But what was that like for you?
I think every day when I wake up, I feel so relieved. Sometimes I still get dreams where I relapse, and it's like it's that bottomless pit, and I feel so hopeless. And then I wake up and I know, okay, it was just a dream. I'm so thankful.
It's not just a dream; it was a nightmare.
Yes, it was a nightmare. So when I wake up, I'm like, awesome. I'm still in the light. I'm still clean, and it's just so freeing, and it's rewarding. It's honestly difficult, but it's so rewarding to know that each 24 hours is another 24 hours that you can add, and it's 24 hours that you that you chose yourself, you chose God, you chose your loved ones, and that is the best thing ever.
Over the course of 10 years during that addiction, were there attempts made to get free from this thing, to get rid of this thing? Or were you just going ahead with it? Or did you make some attempts to get free? And why couldn't you shake it off?
I think I can't even count the times that I wanted to get free. I think it was every single day I wanted to try to get a method. So one of the
why? But why?
Just because I think I knew something was wrong. Like porn, it just didn't sit right with me, and porn and masturbation for that matter. Like from the first time that I typed something in and I felt this weird thing inside of me, I knew this feels good, but it isn't the right thing to do. So I tried to shake it off. I remember searching for ways like how to delete things from your mind and all of those things, and how to get free from porn. And one of those articles said you should admit you have a problem, and I said, okay, I have a problem. And then the second thing, you should tell someone, and I said, all right, I will tell God. And that didn't work, because you need to tell someone in your circle, sort of, and God is the first person you need to tell, but you need to expand that as well. So that's where I stopped, and I said, all right, I'll just be better tomorrow. And it just didn't work. There were times where I literally wanted to bind my hands just so that I can't move my hands, because I was so frustrated with I'm out of control and I don't know how to stop it. And it's very frustrating.
So what was the feeling? I mean, that kept on coming back. The moment that you would act out or watch porn and masturbate, what was that feeling? What did you feel?
So afterwards, you feel hopeless and out of control. It feels like I'm in this body. I know that I'm a strong person. Like I have a strong willpower, but still something as wrong as watching porn, I can't shake it off. And it was so frustrating for me. I felt shameful. I felt like a liar, especially when I got into a relationship with my girlfriend. There's something that's keeping me from her. I felt very isolated. There were many times that I just stayed in my room, because that's the place where I felt safe. But actually I was so scared of myself as well, because I don't know who this person is. Sometimes he's a good guy, and sometimes he's watching this explicit content, and it's very daunting.
And tell me, you said something powerful now, that the thing is, there are so many guys, and I mean, I know the struggle. I've also been through this whole thing after 25-year addiction. I know. There are so many men out there thinking that watching porn is okay. It doesn't have an effect on me as a person. But with that comes so much other things, like being a liar. Yes. I mean, there are so many things that you have to hide away from your partner, and it's like a complete secret life that you are trapped in, that you just cannot get free from. And I mean, you've made many attempts to get free on your own, but you just couldn't. Why was it important for you to get free? I mean, what's the reason behind?
I think it's it it created a lot of distance from my loved ones, from my girlfriend especially. And even though God never left me, I felt like I was not choosing Him. So that was a really difficult thing for me. I can't go to God when I feel this shameful, even though I can approach His throne with confidence. It just felt like something was off when I was at church and there's a worship night. I couldn't be present and worship God because I know just later I will choose porn and not God, and that was very difficult.
That's so amazing because I mean, it's like you are dragging a dead body with you, and there's a stench, and just you're dragging a dead body everywhere where you go, into your next relationship, into a marriage, and something is off. Something is holding me back. I'm not the man that I know I'm supposed to be or that I can be. There's something pulling me back. There's something keeping me in bondage, and it's so powerful just to live in the light. I mean, tell me, that was probably a tough conversation that you had with your girlfriend coming out for the very first time. What was that experience like, and how did she handle that?
So the first time I told my girlfriend I had struggled with porn. So even though I was still struggling, because I wanted to be truthful, but not the entire truth, because that was too much.
Yeah.
She was really supportive, actually. She was very hurt, first of all. That's obvious, but she really tried to help me through it, and she put blockers on my phone, and I felt confident in that the blockers will help me. But yeah, she was very sad. She cried a lot, and she does cry a lot, but she cried even more, and it was just it broke my heart, but it also, I didn't really care about it. I wanted to still watch porn, so that was a very difficult thing for me to admit as well, to know that it's hurting her so much. She's broken. I'm chipping away her self-image, but it doesn't affect me, or it doesn't get me to the point where I want to stop watching porn. So then the second time when I told her, when I was 19, I remember it rained a lot, and that sadness of her sort of turned into a lot of anger. And I also said that she cries a lot, but she's a very loving and compassionate person. She wouldn't hurt anyone, but that anger really just came out of the fact that she was so hurt, and that really broke my heart as well. And I really tried to feel for her, but it was difficult because I was so numbed of this lustful world that I was in.
Because it numbs your emotion.
Yes, definitely. So I didn't feel love. It was just like watching a movie. She's crying and she's angry, and 10 minutes later, okay, let's just go on. So that was what porn did to my feelings as well, towards people that I love, that I spent 4 or 5 years with, and I don't care. I still want myself, my needs satisfied. So that was a scary thing, but now I can say I'm more compassionate towards her, and yeah, it's amazing to see how I've grown.
Amazing. Now, tell me, Christiaan, I mean, you've probably done a lot of things. You mentioned now that you had some blockers on your phone, and I assume people prayed for you, and I assume you read a lot of books, and you did everything in your power to shake this thing, but you just couldn't. What was the turning point? Number one, in your decision, listen, yeah, I am finally done with this once and for all. And what did you do to get help? And where did you seek help?
So I don't think there's a definitive point where I said, now I'm done. I think it was just I don't know how to explain it. It was at one of the SAA meetings. Me and my girlfriend sat in the car, and it was after I told her it was a week of relapses, and she was just very negative about the relationship. Me as well. We weren't seeing the future of us together, so she just told me, I hope that when you go into this meeting and say you are 0 days clean, that it will change you. And it sounds very harsh,
Sure.
but that's exactly what I needed. I'm someone that needs a massive push to say, let's just start doing something. So that really pushed me to say, all right, let me work on clean days. Let me try to see if I can do something. And I'm very proud of clean days, even though it's not the biggest thing. Like it's something that's very motivating for me. So adding that day after day is very motivating for me. So I would say that was the point where I decided, all right, let's challenge this thing and let's try to win. And I am still in the process of winning. And to answer your second question now, the help that I got was very Christian centered. The first person that my girlfriend called sent me a verse about approaching God's throne with confidence, so that you can receive grace and mercy. And he told me, let's meditate on that verse. And that entire series was just a lot of spiritual reconnection, sort of, with God, to say, you can't do this alone. That's the most important thing. You need a supernatural power. You need the only God to come and defeat the evil, because this is not a fight against flesh. It's also the evil spirits and all those things. So that was a very, very strong force in my recovery journey. And then we got in contact with the church, and they referred me to Grace Online, and that's where I started. And it was just an amazing journey. Should I expand on that?
Please, yeah.
All right.
Talk to me about the Grace Online journey. I mean, how was this different from everything else that you tried over 10 years and failed?
I think the biggest thing about Grace Online, it's so community based, and it asks for a lot of commitment. Those 10 years where I tried, it was just me that's trying to figure out a plan, and no one is keeping me accountable. I'm not committed to it. No one knows if I relapse or not. So the Grace Online was just a very hardcore thing at the beginning. I remember meeting Kenneth, and it was a very daunting thing because he knows a lot. I don't know a lot, so I don't know where I'm at. And I think a very good thing about that was there were people that are much worse off than me. They did much worse things, but there were also people that wasn't as worse or as bad off than me. So that made me think, okay, let's just sit in this program. Let's also just try it. Nothing worked. This is something extremely different. So yes, when Kenneth told me that if you regulate your emotions, you will you will not be tempted, but that is the foundation of recovery. I thought, okay, I'm very skeptical, but I like it. It's weird, so let's just try it. And it just worked. I said, okay, I'm going to send a voice note of naming 5 emotions. And that was the weirdest thing. But I just kept on doing it, and it just worked. And it was the craziest thing for me, because where where have I ever heard of this? In my 10 years, they said, do this, do this, do this. And Kenneth said, let's do something extremely different. And it just worked. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. Looking at who you are today, compared with the man 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, what would you say is the biggest difference?
My biggest area of growth is my reliance on God and Jesus for knowing that I'm saved. I don't need to feel shameful. I don't need to be scared, because I know the evil has already been overcome. So that's my biggest growth area, is to trust God and to say, I know I can trust him. Not sometimes, always, and now as well. He will meet me where I'm at. I don't need to first get clean before I can go to him. And the second thing is just trust the process. Like really trusting the people who God has raised for this very moment, to say, let's make a movement of trying to overcome this evil thing. Like it's such a well-oiled machine that the devil uses to tempt us, because it feeds himself. So he doesn't even need to work at it. So getting out of that cycle and seeing how many people we can get out of it is just it's just awesome.
Why do you think so many men are just stuck in this rut, and are afraid to come out, or even to be open with their partners about their addiction?
I think porn and masturbation is such a sweet spot of addictions, because when you use alcohol, you can smell it. Yeah. When you use drugs, you can see it in their eyes. But you can watch porn for 2 minutes, or you can masturbate, and then you can just get out. No one will notice. No one will smell it. No one will see it. So it's just such a sweet spot for lying, because no one will call you out and say, I saw what you did, or
so everything is done in secret.
Yes, it's so.
And is that
so
not the power of this whole addiction? Is the secrecy behind it? So
yes.
What would be the antidote then? Is to
tell the truth.
As
it's as simple as that. Just to tell the truth. Just
come into the light.
Yes, exactly. So when you just come into the light, just tell one person. That is a massive step. And then when you join Grace Online, I think that is also the thing that helped me the most. I told a lot of people at once, so there's a lot of accountability. So when I told my girlfriend, it was still difficult, but the more people I told, listen, I have a problem, but I'm working on it. Yeah. It became easier to commit to the truth and the light.
Yeah. And I think that is the secret, is that community around you. And that's why Grace Online, I think, is the absolute answer. Because, like you said, I mean, just coming into the light and just telling someone, or your girlfriend or your partner or your wife, listen, yeah, I have this addiction, I have this struggle. It's not good enough, man. You are still going to, that's going to last like a couple of days perhaps.
Yes.
And then you're going to relapse, almost guaranteed. You need a structured program. You need people that goes through the exact same thing as what you're going through, and surround yourself with that. Surround yourself with people who have been walking the road for 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 years.
Yes.
And I think that's the power of that. Can you talk to me a bit more about that community? Have you formed relationships with some of the other men? Could you identify with their struggles?
Yes, I can definitely identify with all of the men. Some of their stories fit into mine, and not all the parts, but there are snippets of every single person that I know. All right, he struggled with maybe noticing. I struggled with noticing. He's struggling with thoughts. I'm struggling with thoughts. So then I can ask him, how did you manage to sort of overcome that? How have you managed to handle that? So that is the biggest part, to just know that there's a lot of wisdom in that group, and they want to help you. they don't judge you. Like I thought at my first meeting, saying I'm struggling with porn and masturbation, it's a very shameful thing, but we just carried on. All right, hello, let's carry on. It's amazing to sort of fit in there. Like you are not special in your struggle. Your struggle is not that big because there's a lot of people that's struggling with the same thing. So you're not special in that, but everyone wants to help you. So that was amazing for me.
Yeah, that's amazing, Christiaan. And tell me, what would your message be to other guys out there sitting in the same situation, hopeless, don't know what to do, don't know where to go from here? What would your message be to them?
For young people, definitely, I would say stop it early because you don't know how it will affect your relationships in the future. It's already affecting it, and the longer you wait, the bigger the damage. And that's something that I needed to experience. So I want to say to them, like, save your partner firstly because you love them, and save yourself, and just choose the light. So to make it a bit more practical, you should tell someone, like tell someone that you trust and you know will help you, and get a structured program at least for 1 year, or I would say 5 years, but it sounds a lot. So get a structure where you can actively and mindfully fight against it, and then it will really help you in the future.
Tell me, and I mean this might be a difficult question, but I spoke earlier about porn addiction being almost like a dead body that you drag around with you. If you drag this dead body into your future, and you got married to your girlfriend, do you think that the natural progression of watching porn would have ended up in you having a physical and actual affair with someone else?
Yes, definitely. I wanted to touch on that. I think you start innocently watching at not innocent porn, but just very light porn, and then it progresses to more intense porn, and then that's not enough, and now you want to go to physical things. Like I think it would have progressed definitely to having an affair, maybe even things that are much worse. So I'm just very thankful that I stopped it early, and that it never went past the watching porn on a screen, because it would definitely have been much worse.
Wow, that's amazing. And I can hear your heart, because I mean it's stop this as soon as you can, because it's going to have an effect on you as a person for the rest of your life. It's going to impact your marriage, your finances. I mean, let's just explore for 1 minute. What are the different aspects in your life that porn really affects?
So porn affected, firstly, my spiritual life with God, because I felt shameful. So that's immediately a barrier that I put in place, not God. I put it there. So that's the first thing. Second thing is my relationship with my family. I isolated myself a lot. Then my relationship with my girlfriend. I wasn't truthful, so we couldn't be emotionally intimate as we should be. Then my relationship with my friends. I always wanted to talk about sexual things because that's the only thing that interests me. So that affected me as well. And then schoolwork. My mind is not at the schoolwork, even though I was so blessed with doing well. It was just I could have done much better because my attention was divided. So when you need to do homework, you would rather act out because it's more rewarding. And then also in terms of my health, I think that's also a big thing. I think honestly, it's just a lot of things that's that is affected, and you don't always see it because it's such a subtle thing. Like it's just quick 2 minutes, and then that's it. But it affects even your mind, like how you view women, and that makes you feel shameful all in itself. And yeah, it's just you struggle to love yourself, and that's a big root problem for all other things.
So did you stop masturbating as well?
Yes. So
2 years.
yes.
Many people will be watching this and think, how the heck did you do that?
Yeah, I can expand a bit on that. So I stopped watching porn and masturbating because porn feeds masturbation and masturbation feeds porn. So you can't maybe there are some people, but I highly doubt that. You can't masturbate without being lustful.
Yeah.
So, and you can't watch porn without being lustful. So yeah, I just stopped. It's difficult, but it also just happened. The urge of stopping, or the urge of masturbating just isn't there. I remember my girlfriend said to me, I think it was when I was 16, the first time that when I was 19, I told her that I'm struggling, and she said to me, just stop it, just don't do it. And it is as simple as that, but it's not as easy as that. But yeah, I just stopped it, and each day it becomes easier to choose against it, to choose the light. So that's also a big motivation to the more days you are clean, the more days you want to be clean. So just getting that guidance in the first couple of days is vital.
Why would you recommend a program like Grace Online to guys out there struggling?
Even though it helps you with recovery, it's honestly, it's a lifestyle. Let's just improve your entire lifestyle, your entire thinking process. The big foundation of Grace Online, in my opinion, is emotional regulation. So knowing what emotions you are feeling, knowing how to communicate that, that is the big foundation, and that is relationships, is talking, communicating how you are feeling, and moving forward. So yeah, that's why I would recommend it. And you get so much practice every day when you go to the meetings and you make a phone call or you send a voice note. All of those life skills that are so important and so integrated into us are just, it's learning you to just be intact with what you are feeling and how to deal with it. And I also just want to say that a lot of people watching or listening to this will maybe think, this sucks. I don't want to be in a program doing recovery for the rest of my life. But one of the guys that I spoke to on the program said, it's like brushing your teeth. I don't like brushing my teeth, but it's just something that I need to do to be hygienic and just being healthy and having good teeth. So it's just brushing your teeth, and it's literally when you get to sending voice notes, it's 2 minutes. It's brushing your teeth. So, and that really impacts your entire life. Like I would have gotten a lot of cavities if I haven't done it, but it's just it's so rewarding. You get to have healthy teeth, healthy relationships, and that's just amazing.
Amazing. I think there's a misconception out there that once you are free from it, it's like someone can pray for you and boom, you are set free now. There you go. Next. It's not. I mean, that probably works for like 1% of men. That's why a structured program like Grace Online is so important, because it keeps you plugged into that community, and there's accountability, there's knowledge there that's being shared with the men, and a lot of experience. So I think that's really, really powerful. Christiaan, I was just reminded of a scripture in the Bible that you mentioned earlier in our podcast, and I quickly want to read it for us. It's Hebrews 4, verse 15. For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but was in all points tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. I think there are so many guys out there that's just stuck in a rut, hopeless. I've been there myself. You feel so ashamed of the things that you watch and what you do behind the scenes, that you've got no confidence to approach our Father. But as we've read now in the Bible, we can come boldly to the throne room of grace, where we will obtain mercy in a time of need, mercy and grace. And then, I'm a father of 2 boys, and when I think you only realize what love is the moment you have children. If they mess up, if they make mistakes, even at school, even now, I want to be the first one that they run to and to come and seek help. That's just the Father's heart. How even more so when it comes to our Heavenly Father. He wants us to run to Him with our stuff, because He knows it in any case.
Yes.
He knows it in any case. So looking at the camera today, you might be watching this podcast today, and there are so many things that you can relate with. Listen here, I can relate with the struggle that Christiaan is going through. I can relate with that. I can relate with the pain. I want to tell you today that you are not alone. And I want to tell you today that there are men out there that's living a life in the light, that is free from this addiction, that shook it off. It is possible to live a life free from a porn addiction, free from masturbation. It is possible. We are living testimonies sitting here today, and I cannot tell you how liberating that feels. I want to extend an invitation to you today. Get in contact with Grace Online. Get in contact with Kenneth de Kock. We can help you. There's a whole community of men that will surround you, that went through the same stuff. Get in contact with us. There is help for you. There is a solution, and it is possible.
I think the biggest thing is Jesus is not scared of your sin. Kenneth is not scared of your sin. We are not scared of your sin. We just want you to live a life that's truthful. So please we just want to help you. And I think even though sexual things has been there from Genesis, porn on a screen is very recent. It started not long ago. So let's be the generation to stop this and fight against this. So let's just think of the future. Think of your kids. Think of your grandkids, because that is who we are fighting for.
Amen. I think there's a generation rising up that is really taking a stance against this whole thing. And when you talk about being a man and talking about emotions and stuff, this is the stigma that men don't cry, men don't talk about their issues, men don't talk about their feelings, men don't talk about their issues or their struggles. For me, that's the opposite. Real men stand up and take a stance against things that are holding us back, of being the man and the men who God created us to be.
Yes.
So I really think that there's an army rising up, and we are marching forward. Yes. And you can either join us or stay left behind, stuck in that rut for the rest of your days. So, I really want to extend an invitation to you watching online today. Get in contact with Grace Online. There's hope, there's freedom awaiting you, and it is possible. Christiaan, I want to thank you for joining us today in studio. I think it was a powerful session. Thank you so much for your vulnerability. Thank you so much for your honesty. Christiaan, I want to ask you one thing. From the get-go, I asked you when doing this podcast, would you like us to hide your identity? Because I know this is a very, very sensitive subject for many people. And a lot of people don't know about the struggles that people go through. But you just raised your hand up saying that this and No, don't worry about that. I want to explore that with you. I want to find out why. Why are you unashamed to hide your, not to hide your identity?
I think, to be honest, I was skeptical at first because maybe if my employer someday sees it, or my family, my grandmother or my grandfather sees it, they were like, "What? What is he doing here?" But I just thought, like, if this can help one person to see this guy chose the light, he chose God. If it can help one person to say, I want to get free from it, and there's no shame in it. If he's so young and he wants to do it, then I can do it as well. So that's why I want to do it. And once it is in the light, darkness cannot overcome it again. So Jesus is holding me tight, and even though I'm still fighting, I know I'm in the light, and that's just an awesome place to be. So these things are for things much greater than worldly things, such as getting a job or getting married. This is for God. So let's be bold in it.
Amazing. That's amazing. And I mean, Christiaan, your whole life is still ahead of you, man. So I really commend you for doing this and taking responsibility at such a young age and saying enough is enough. You know, I choose to live my life free from a porn and masturbation addiction. Finishing klaar.
Amen.
It's been great having you in studio with me today, Christiaan, and I know that this is going to make such a huge impact in the lives of so many people. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.